When we were in the jewelry business, I had a lukewarm interest, if you will, so I was wondering what I would do, but when the shift started happening more to real estate was something that was very interesting to me, so it made it a fairly easy move for me to join the family company once I was done my studies.
Hi everyone, today I have the pleasure of introducing Chris Harden from Group Harden. Group Harden is a very successful investor endeavor and developers west of the island principally, but also all around Quebec. So yes, hi Chris.
Anthony, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, as you know. Could you tell us more about the beginning of Harden Group and its history?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Harden, it's a family company.
Mm-hmm.
So it was founded by my grandparents in 1949. They originally started in the jewelry business, so we're actually old retailers. My father, his brothers went into the jewelry business as well. Eventually the business morphed, and the family started investing in real estate. The first deal wasn't the easiest, so my father actually, rolled up his sleeves, got involved, and they wound up doing well at it. So it started evolving from there, and then I'd say in the early 2000s, that's when our side of the family went pretty much exclusively into real estate, where we are today. So we've really morphed into a real estate company that focuses mostly on commercial retail, I'd say, since that's what our history is. Mm-hmm. But we touch all asset classes now, whether it be the residential, the industrial, land development, etc.
Great. And also from your personal perspective, you've been very successful within the Group Harden yourself. How did you come up with the idea of going into commercial real estate for yourself and applying yourself a bit more?
That's a good question. So, originally, like I would mention, we were in the jewelry business. That was a business, quite honestly, for me. I always knew I wanted to be in business. So it was going to be either with the family business or I would be starting something on my own. When we were in the jewelry business, I had a lukewarm interest, if you will, so I was wondering what I would do, but when the shift started happening more to real estate was something that was very interesting to me, so it made it a fairly easy move for me to join the family company once I was done my studies.
Mm-hmm. And how did the first acquisition, or maybe the landmark acquisition that put you guys on the map went? Which one was it?
I think that where we've come to be known in the industry is mostly in the West Island, maybe Vaudreuil. Mm-hmm. That's a market which has been quite good to us. Our head offices are in Vaudreuil. We just built some new ones that we're pretty happy about. We're pretty excited to be able to go back full time after COVID to utilize them. But probably I'd say in that market we did a few good acquisitions. We built the Home Depot there. There was one of their first deals where they were a tenant as opposed to owning. When we saw to what extent they were bullish on the market and wanted to be there, that's when we realized that it'd be a good time to start buying up more land holdings in that market. So we started doing that, and that's kind of what started off Avenue Vaudreuil.
Okay. And for the initial strategy of Group Harden, I know you guys come from a jewelry background and retail, but what made you trust retail so much and go into that full speed?
I think, like you said, it's the fact that, we knew it so well. The family history was in retail. Everyone in the families really worked in retail. And we know what the consumers want. We know what makes them tick. We know even more so what's important to retailers, how they have to be put in a good position to succeed, what those criteria are. So having that background ourselves, is a natural to say, okay, what would we do to develop for ourselves as a retailer and make us successful? And at the end of the day, all we have to do is translate that and do it for someone else. So that's why, we were very comfortable developing retail real estate and still are today.
Great, great. And how has your strategy evolved over the years? Like, I know you've mentioned that you're in now multifamily, land investments and so on, right? So how did that come to part?
There's been a bit of an evolution. I guess a few years back, one of the things we were looking at is like any, company, investment, et cetera, diversity. Mm-hmm. So what we did is we started at first, we were diversified within the commercial retail space. When I say that, I mean, we had certain holdings in fashion. A lot of it we shifted towards grocery anchored, stable assets with the pharmacy, bank, Dollarama. Since then also we've looked at, as I mentioned, different asset classes, and I think that also, the strategy shifts as well with market conditions, whether it's where the market's going, whether it's something like, construction costs, how do you control those? Is it better to redevelop? Where do you reinvest? So I think it's, reading the market and being able to position yourself properly, that's part of the fun of what we've been doing.
On the same thought, what asset class do you see the best performing within the next 5 to 10 years?
I think during the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to see pockets performing in a bit of everything. If we want to look general across the board, I believe obviously industrial is going to keep doing quite well. You know, we see a lot of obviously online sales. A lot of companies have been rushing to get up their distribution network. So a lot of DC-based real estate for industrial. So I think that asset class is going to do quite well going forward. You know, there's also, I think within every asset class there still is opportunity within land development. You know, you go to the right place, then you can do great residential projects. There's still demand for obviously good retail, whether it's experience-based, whether it's something more service. But if I had to take one asset class as a broad stroke as a whole, I'd probably say industrial at this point. Industrial,
right. Yeah, we've seen the shortage of industrial in Greater Montreal impact the markets pretty heavily. Which project or what acquisition are you the most proud of? And
that's a good question.
I know they're all your babies.
Well, that's exactly a little bit of that. We try not to get too emotionally attached, but at the end of the day, you know, it is something that we do ground up. I think that if I had to pick one, you know, I think if I just look at it, maybe it's because of, you know, I know all the effort that went into it and the to it as part of from the whole team. So maybe Vaudreuil simply because an Avenue Vaudreuil, you know, with the size and scale of what we have there, I realize all the effort that's gone into it. And I think, you know, what we're proud of, we're proud of the successes, but I think we're most proud of, you know, the team, how people are able to come together, collaborate, a lot of people who started with us, and how we've seen them grow together. So I think the pride that we get is, you know, seeing what people, the Harden family together, and when I say family, I mean our whole company, were able to accomplish. That's what really makes us proud.
Oh, that's awesome. Is that what you attribute your success to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our success, I mean, you know, like anyone, I think it's you need hard work, you need a bit of luck, you need to work smart, but at the end of the day, you know, I think that it's pretty clear that the best team wins, in the sense so you can be great at what you do, but you're not able to surround yourself with good people, trust them, support them, let them run with it, then, you know, obviously I don't think you're going to do quite well. So I think for us, really, the key to success, like I think for anyone, really, is a good team.
Great. Also, could you tell us a bit more about Avenue Vaudreuil, Avenir, and, you know, the operation you got going on in Vaudreuil, because it's quite substantial, right? It's most of the city.
It is. It's a good holding in Vaudreuil. So what we decided to do a few years ago when we were looking at our holdings in Vaudreuil, you know, there was one project I had mentioned with Home Depot that we had sold off in 2006, but since then, you know, we built up. We had one main center, which was a fashion-based center. We had started construction on a Costco-anchored center. We had another one coming in has a sale as an anchor. So essentially, we wanted to find a way to not just brand independent properties. There was a synergy to them. It was planned out so there'd be different uses at different properties. So basically, we want to bring them together. So we did a mandate with Sidley and came up with the idea of Les Avenues Vaudreuil. So each one of the property would have a slightly different branding and it'd be their own avenue, if you will. So there's Avenue Mud, which is obviously fashion-based. We have Avenue Loisirs, which is something more like sale, recreation, restaurants. Avenue Marché, which, you know, has the Harchaoui, the Costco, the SAQ, more service on that end. Avenue Avenir, as you're mentioning. That one, we're in the planning stages. What's exciting is we're adjacent to the new hospital coming to Vaudreuil, which is over $1 billion investment, which, you know, they're commencing imminently. So we have a few different opportunities and plans we're looking at, but that's definitely a site that we're excited to densify, definitely be able to serve hospital uses, and then a few others as well on that site.
Wow, it's definitely impressive because you're touching at so many different areas, right? And it's kind of, you're creating your own city within Vaudreuil, right? And your own little departments, and they communicate with each other, and it makes every department have a success that is substantial. What is next for Group Harden in, let's say, the next 5 years? What's the strategy upcoming?
Well, we definitely want to keep, you know, we're active. We like working hard. We like, you know, tangible results. So we're going to keep pushing quite hard. We have, we're still expanding. Just this week we brought in 3 new hires. There's more coming. So essentially, we got to keep all these people busy. So to keep all these people busy, naturally, we're going to keep on building. We're vertically integrated. We have the construction in-house, we have leasing in-house, we have development in-house, and then we have management. So every one of those departments, we want to keep them active. So it's important to keep the pipeline stocked, to keep looking at new opportunities, and to keep, growing together with the team. So that's our intent going forward.
Awesome. Just to finish, tell us a bit more about your nonprofit.
Thanks. So, yeah, the nonprofit is called Let's Bond. So essentially, it's a few of my friends, 11 years ago now. They had a bit of time on their hands. They wanted to host a party because why not? And they decided to kind of, make a more positive spin on that. So charge a few dollars, raise some funds. And they both decided on the cause of mental health. So basically, back then it was supported a foundation that was called Fondation des Maladies Mentales,
okay.
Which became Fondation Québec Jeune. So basically, Fondation Jeune en Tête, excuse me. So we started supporting them and Douglas as well, and then it's a foundation whereby, the goal that we have as Let's Bond as the fundraisers is really to create awareness, to bring people together to support the cause and to raise money for the cause. So we've been able to grow, and we started with just one annual event a year, and that event, the Let's Bond Gala, unfortunately, in 2020 with COVID, it didn't quite happen. We'll wait and see if 2021, but it's been a successful event through the Montreal scene, if you will, and we've grown it more to be more than just an event. We've brought on different events as well, such as a sporting event last year, the Let's Bond Derby, a shopping event with Ogilvy, Hope Renfrew, more content as well as we're trying to create. So within Let's Bond, the more I think that we're able to talk about mental health, how people can support each other, coming together, I think that makes a huge difference in itself, especially in today's day and age. So, it's been a challenge obviously on that end as well with COVID, but we've still been able to raise quite a bit of money in the last few years. I mean, last year, even despite COVID, able to donate over $250,000. And this year, I think we're also getting creative to see what we can do to stay relevant. So we have actually a little event coming up, an online event, April 15th, where information is about to be released. But I think it could be quite interesting. We're excited that we're able to keep pushing forward the cause of mental health, especially in these sort of times.
You are filled with passion. It's very admirable of you, all that nonprofit work, honestly.
Thank you.
To finish this nicely, I really thank you for coming here today and coming for the interview. It's always a pleasure to have you in our offices. For the viewers, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down there. Me or Chris will have a pleasure of answering them. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.